Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I present Ghana's Prime Building Cost Index and Inflation for February 2026. The Prime Building Cost Index, or PBCI, measures how much it costs to construct buildings over time. It tracks the prices of materials, labor, and plant or equipment used in construction. In simple terms, it tells us whether a building is becoming more expensive or more affordable. Let me start by explaining two simple terms. Year-on-year inflation compares prices of building inputs today to the same time last year. It tells us how much costs have changed over a full year. Month-on-month inflation compares prices to the previous month. It shows short-term movement. Now, here are the key results. In February 2026, the PBCI stood at 133.0, up from 129.8 in February 2025. This translates into a year-on-year building cost inflation rate of 2.4%. In simple terms, building costs in February 2026 are 2.4% higher than they were a year earlier. On a month-on-month basis, building cost inflation was 0.4%. That means prices rose by 0.4% between January and February 2026. Here is the important part. Building cost inflation continues to slow down. The 2.4% recorded in February 2026 is lower than the 3.9% in January and below the 23.7% recorded a year earlier by 21.3 percentage points. This is the 10th consecutive month of decline. Let's break it down by main cost drivers. Labor inflation dropped to 2.4% year-on-year in February 2026, down from 5.4% in January. Month-on-month, labor costs increased slightly by 0.1% between January and February 2026. Materials inflation also eased to 2.4% in February 2026 from 3.5% in January, although prices increased by 0.5% over the month. That is, between January and February 2026. Plant inflation, which includes equipment, fell to 2.6% in February 2026 from 4.2% in January, with a modest 0.1% month-on-month increase. So what does this mean? All three components are slowing down, but material still show the strongest monthly pressure. At the subgroup level, there are clear differences. Toilet accessories recorded the highest inflation at 10.8%, while cement recorded the lowest at negative 7.1%. This tells us that not all prices of building inputs are moving in the same direction. Some prices are rising, whilst others are falling. Overall, the key drivers of building cost inflation in February 2026 were electrical works, which contributed 38% to the overall building cost inflation, followed by tiles at 31% and glazing at 23%. Altogether, these three subgroups contributed 92% to the overall inflation rate of 2.4% in February 2026. At the same time, cement, steel, coarse aggregates, fine aggregates, and bathroom accessories pulled inflation down by 56%. Now, what are the practical implications? For government, this is a good time to accelerate infrastructure projects while inflation is low and more predictable. At the same time, persistent labor costs suggest the need to invest in skills training for artisans. For businesses, especially contractors and developers, this is a moment to lock in prices and secure medium-term contracts before conditions change. For households, stabilizing prices mean you can plan your building project more confidently, possibly in phases to manage costs better. Let me conclude. We at the Ghana Statistical Service express our sincere appreciation to market players, data providers, and all stakeholders who support this work. We also recognize the dedication of our staff, whose efforts make this release possible. We remain fully committed to providing timely, accurate, and credible statistics to support informed decision-making and national development. Thank you very much.